Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regularly scheduled public board meeting for January 10th, 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:03. And we would like to begin our meeting this evening with the land designation and prayer as presented by Trustee Janvier today.
All right. We would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of Treaty 8 territory and the homelands of the Métis people. We recognize the land on which we stand as the ancestral land of the Indigenous peoples and is common home to everyone in virtue of God, our Creator's gracious gift. And the Father and the Son, and the Spirit, amen. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our staff members, both the teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations, and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are for the good of all and guard us from blind interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory to be you, loving God, now and always through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen. Father, Son.
Thank you for that, Trustee Janvier. We move now to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or omissions to the agenda? And if not, if I could ask for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
All in favor? So moved, thank you. Moving now to item number 5, the adoption of the minutes. The regularly scheduled board meeting of December 13th, 2021. The minutes were presented. And are there any errors or omissions to those minutes? And if not, if I could ask for a trustee to motion to adopt those minutes as presented.
I move to adopt the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Galanzowski. All in favor? So moved. Seeing that we have no business arising from the minutes, I move now to item number 8, board presentation, and I defer to Superintendent McGuigan for this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Continuing on with our board presentations this year, with our schools coming and presenting their school assurance plans and what they're working on in the schools this year. Tonight we have 2 presentations for you. The first up will be St. Kateri School. So I'd like to introduce to you Jody Seymour, principal at St. Kateri, and she will introduce her team. Jody, all yours.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So I'm joined tonight by the super-powered Vice Principal, Casey. And I also want to acknowledge and thank Anna Hoffman, who isn't able to be with us tonight, as well as Pam Murphy. They both have helped to prepare this presentation. As well, as you'll see, though, there were many staff. All of our teachers were involved, and we sought their input and insight in preparation. As always, I'm sure, Jen, you'll agree, we prefer to come in person with kids, and I know you guys prefer that. So we sort of try to do the next best thing, and we have teachers sharing with you portions of the assurance plan that we wanted to highlight from St. Kateri. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Which I haven't done on this new laptop, and it's not allowing me to do it. So can I get some help from the amazing Francois. This is a new laptop. Thank you for the new laptop, but it's saying share screen and it won't let me share my screen.
Can you share the presentation with me on Google?
Oh, sorry. I thought I did.
No, I was, okay. I was muted.
It wouldn't be a board presentation if there wasn't a technical difficulty.
If it's any consolation, Principal Seymour, it's usually me who causes the technical difficulty, so
I'm sorry.
I'm perfectly happy to let you own that one.
That's why I was late to the last principals meeting, because I hadn't used Zoom on this new laptop yet and I had to download it and I didn't think that it wouldn't let me share my screen. I should have tested it. Do you have it, Francois?
Yeah, just give me a second.
If
Just give me, almost there.
And I guess, Casey, you could have done it. So if somehow the video clips don't work, then maybe you can jump in.
You have to quit and I'll be back. I'll get back in the meeting in a second.
While we're waiting, would we like to move to Principal Lacey's presentation?
Sure, we will see if our screen will work. We will double check to see if that works. Which way am I going? Okay.
Mine, Jen, is because it's a brand new laptop. That's why. I just don't
Yeah.
have it.
And sorry, if you're ready, thank you, Principal Lacey. Superintendent McGuigan, would you please make introductions?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. St. Gabriel School, Principal Jen Lacey, and I see her Vice Principal beside her. I'll let her introduce her to you, and they have your presentation for you on their school assurance plan. So I'll turn it right over to you, Jen.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Everyone can hear, I'm guessing? Perfect, okay. We needed a little moral support, so we decided to come back to the school and do this together. I haven't met everyone, all of our trustees yet, so it's nice to see you guys. It would have been nicer in person, like Jody said, but I look forward to when we do get to meet in person. First, we're going to start off. I'll give a little background because our mission statement was something that kind of went along with our new kind of the assurance framework, that new model that we came forward with. St. Gabe's is actually 39 years old now, and so we decided that with our demographics changing and our staff changing, people didn't know what our mission statement was. So we were able to, I guess, collaborate with our stakeholders, so our families, our staff, everyone involved, and we were able to create a survey that we sent out. And through the survey, we just wanted people to put key phrases, words, emotions, things that made them think of St. Gabriel School. And with this, we were able to come up with kind of our new mission statement. I put all the words into a Wordle, and in collaboration with mainly our teachers, we were able to create our new mission statement, which is, as a family of faith, St. Gabriel School is dedicated to build a culture of respect, resiliency, and learning. And as you can see, it's wonderful to showcase the words that stand out: resilient, family, support, respect, and kind. I think these are all virtues and values that we want to, that resonate, I guess, with being a Catholic school. And we were able to come up with some hashtags as well. I'm not as tech savvy and on Twitter, but we try and use our hashtags whenever we're posting on Facebook. A little bit more on Instagram, so I'm doing a little bit more of that now. We also, I guess, to go back, we wanted to continue to keep this visible with our families and also our students. So we're trying to make this something that's part of their everyday. And a lot of times our mission statements kind of fall to the side, and we don't really keep track of it or live it anymore. We want this to be something that we're living. Once we defined ourselves with our mission, we were able to put this into the assurance framework, and we have our 5 components, I should say. We have our literacy, our wellness, our faith, our numeracy, and also early learning. So we, I guess the district's vision for rebounding back is where we have come up with our assurance framework components. I will go to the next one. So through, I guess, with our faith development, what we want to do is permeate this cross-culturally and curricularly, also while strengthening the school relationship with the church. I think we have focused a lot as a school community, collaborating with Mrs. Nokaho, our Indigenous liaison, in the media with all the residential school findings, and I guess the negative image that may be coming out with the Catholic school church, I should say. It's imperative that we are repairing that relationship as well and educating in a faith-based approach for our families. I know Mrs. Nokaho is kind of, I call her the grandma of the school, because she is such a wise educator for not only our children, but also ourselves. And the reason we're really focusing on this as well is because the faith development component is the overarching umbrella for where all of our other goals fall under. And something that actually Karen and I stood out to myself and Karen was that Mr. McGuigan will share even on his superintendent Sundays the idea that this is our vocation. Being in the school is our vocation, and we're always called to the servant leadership. And I feel that it kind of works its way down throughout the entire school with our students and also our families. A lot of our children aren't physically exposed to the church, so we want to bring that to them. And it's a little bit harder now with COVID because we haven't been able to bring go to the liturgies in the church. We're right across from St. Paul, so it's wonderful when we get to go there. We've had a few classes go and they present their liturgies there, but it hasn't been as typical for us to go there. So we want to bring the church to them. So as every school does, we always have our liturgies monthly in the school, but we also really want to highlight and showcase our leading up to Christmas. So Advent, having those weekly liturgies with our children. And one of the teachers said, isn't that a lot? And I said, no, it's not a lot. Our kids aren't going to church like they used to, and having that lead up to Christmas is so important. And we try and I guess share that with our kiddos, because we wouldn't be celebrating Christmas if it wasn't for the birth of Jesus. And sometimes they tend to lose sight of that. And I guess the other part that makes it really important for us with the Truth and Reconciliation is, once we educate our children, they can bring those conversations into the home and they can educate their parents. And because they're the ones who, I guess, educate us in the end, and they're the ones that are going to carry these virtues and values as they go through, as they become adults. And one other thing we just wanted to share and showcase was we only have 25 grade 5 students, but 6 of those students were able to have the sacrament of First Communion, and we were able to celebrate it in a wonderful way with them, and go into the classroom, and the kids were beaming with pride and excitement. So doing those little things is very important to us as well. Oh, and we have a little video.
I know you got mountains to climb. Always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride. Always stay humble and kind.
Okay, so on to our next area. I guess moving forward, we need to have the academic component of our assurance framework. And it's really important for us to build the capacity within our staff, and it can't be a top-down approach. And the best way to do this, which is wonderful because we have our activator teams, and we just wanted to showcase who our activators are. So we have in our early learning, we have Megan Kwiatkowski. She's a kindergarten teacher. We have Mrs. Gerardo Germain, and she is our music PE teacher. And she kind of fits into, you know, our whole area, K to 6. And then we have Jessica Malloy, and she's a grade 3-4 teacher in our school. And these are teachers that we know that are going to be leaders. We want to build their capacity, and it's a shared responsibility. So it's that cadence of accountability that fits in with our assurance framework.
All right, so I'm going to discuss early learning, our first component. So upon developing the academic component of our assurance framework, we knew a large part or a large focus should be placed on our early learners. Both Jen and I were former kindergarten teachers, so we understood the importance of early intervention and strategically developing an early learning program that was full of rich oral language opportunities. So with this focus in mind, we took some time and met with our early learning team and collaboratively reviewed all of our data from the previous year. And then we looked at a plan on how to move forward and what we needed to prioritize as a school to ensure we were developing pre-reading and numeracy skills. Those were the two big things that we wanted to focus on with our little ones. But we also wanted to ensure that our classroom environments remained play-based, they were interactive, and they continued to meet the individual needs of all of our learners. So keeping with the district's early learning framework, we set out to create a language-rich program. So some of the things that we did, our teachers are working on creating monthly dramatic play centers where students will work on their vocabulary development through imaginative play, learning from each other by interacting and making sense of the world around them. So far this year, students have been exposed to a garden center, a coffee shop, haunted houses, and through that play, we have seen their development in their vocabulary grow exponentially. Also, a big push was on the implementation of Jolly Phonics. You know, with phonemic awareness being the foundational skill needed for emergent reading, we worked with our ECS team and also our Division I teachers, and we trained them in the Jolly Phonics methodology. And now from EAP all the way to grade 3, they embrace this instructional tool in their daily practice, and we can see the path moving forward and how it just keeps building on every grade. So Mathology was also a resource that was made available to our school. So we also incorporated this into our daily practice, which helped develop the students' curiosity about numbers. But the good thing about this, it was done through engaging math stories. So we also had that literacy piece, so it went cross curriculum, which was great. And then to tie it all up, we know that children, they're born with curiosity. And research shows that young children learn best through exploration and playing. So we really wanted to make sure our classrooms were fun and exciting, where our little students were happy to come to school. And we did this by creating a welcoming space with meaningful centers, where the learning is very interactive. We use lots of songs, rhymes, chants, and movement to make that body-mind connection. Ultimate goal for us was to move our students into grade 1 next year with a strong baseline for number and letter recognition, and for them to develop wonderful imaginations, strong vocab, and have an understanding of the world around them. And each and every day, we are very blessed to have them in our building, and they work on strengthening these skills, and they are ready to learn new ones by having time to practice and engaging with others.
Well, here we are, no one else. We walk to school all by ourselves. There's dirt on our uniforms from chasing all the ants and worms. We clean up and now it's time to learn. We clean up and now it's time to learn. Numbers, letters, learn to spell. Nouns and books and show and tell. Playtime, we throw the ball, get back to class, through the hall. Teacher marks are high against the wall. The teacher marks are high against the wall. We don't notice. Well, here we are.
Okay, so you can see here, under literacy and numeracy, we're going to work on narrative writing skills and then improving the basic math computation skills. I guess we needed to go back to the fundamentals because we need to rebound after those well, I should say COVID's not over, but a couple years of COVID, I guess we can say. So we've been gifted with the Fountas and Pinnell resources, and we've been able to delve into that with Karen. She is an expert with the Fountas and Pinnell, and so she's been able to not only train our teachers with it, but we have trained all of our educational assistants. So they're able to run guided reading centers as well in the classroom with our students. Okay, how does this fit in with narrative writing skills? Well, I guess our students need to know what narrative writing looks like before they can get into the narrative writing part of things. So we want to model, we want to build that foundation for our students. And it's starting to, I guess, reap the benefits. And one of the big parts we've got into not only the guided reading, but the interactive read alouds, and shared reading is the other one. So we've been able to move forward with that a little bit. And it's the teachers, they like the resource. It was an expensive resource, but it was worth it. And so I think it's important that you know that as well for the trustees, because this was a resource that is well utilized and it's going to make big differences with our students. Jolly Phonics, huge push for us. And we're finding with the Jolly Phonics, it's building great phonemic awareness and foundation skills for our kids moving up, especially from the kindergarten to the grade 1. So a huge push on that for us as well. We were able to create a wildly important goal, our WIG, for the school based on improving our basic math skills, like math facts. And it's turned into something positive, I guess, with our students and our teachers as well. We're getting back to the basics and it's starting to show us results now. And this is important for life skills for our kids as well. We want them to go into high school having these basic computational skills. We actually had a little guy, he was coming early for a while there when the weather was really cold, and he would sit under his coat hook and he would practice math facts. Waiting to get in the class. You didn't even know he was in the school. And it's just wonderful to see a student want to do that. So we'll show you a little video now.
Easy as 1, 2, 3. Are the branches of a learning tree, but without the roots of love every day, girl. Education incomplete to this year. Just gotta show you how to get it. Love me and you, listen to me, baby. That's all we gotta do. ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. All simple as do, re, mi. ABC, 1, 2, 3, baby, you and me. Easy as 1, 2, 3. All simple as do, re, mi. ABC, 1, 2, 3, baby, you and easy.
Okay, so moving into the wellness component, we wanted to showcase our wellness team. So on our wellness team, we have Mrs. Kwiatkowski again. She's our Apple School champion. We have a part-time counselor, Mrs. Fontaine. And we felt it was really important that we showcased Mrs. Nokaho because she is such a strong part of our, I guess, our school community and building that wellness factor with our families.
So as you can see from our videos, we do great things here at St. Gabriel School. But one of the big things that Jen and I really wanted to, focus on was the wellness of our team. Welcoming, caring, respectful, and safe learning environments make a significant contribution to the mental well-being of our students, staff, and families. So when we looked to move our school forward this year, we knew that our focus in our insurance plan had to be on the wellness of our staff. So current research clearly shows the importance of mental health and its connection to learning, as well as to students' social and emotional development. So connection was the key for us. It was our driving force, not only connection to our students, but to our families, EAs, teachers, the custodians, and our colleagues. So more than ever, we knew the importance and value of taking care of our staff and reaching out to them and connecting with them, not only on a professional level, but on a personal level. So as Jen has spoken before, the last 3 years, you all know, have been quite challenging. So we really wanted to focus on the wellness of the school as a whole. And this started with taking care of our staff. Having the opportunity to have Lori McIntosh at the beginning of the school year was just a segue where we wanted to lead our staff and connection at the forefront. So Jen and I, we turned up the kindness. And at the beginning of the year, we really stressed the importance of relationship building and connection with our students. But we needed to model this first with our teachers and our support staff. So every single day, we worked very hard to acknowledge and appreciate the goodness of everyone. It was simple words of encouragement or acknowledgement, things done well. We showed them appreciation for things that they were doing, small gifts of gratitude, even simply greeting them hello in the mornings. It really helped to shift the whole mindset of our school and the culture of the school. It was just a ripple effect. And we all know when the self-worth of a person is high, so too is their efficacy. And they become more in tune to their job, and ultimately our students are the ones who reap those rewards. Our students then feel connected to school, and they're more likely to become engaged and excited, and they have that sense of belonging. So this shift in wellness and building a positive school culture allowed our school to really target our wellness goal of improving student leadership and celebrating student achievement. So with this as our main focus, we're able to achieve some great things in the last 4 months. Last year, we really wanted to have a lighthouse team, but we didn't have the buy-in from our staff, nor do we have the buy-in from our students. So this year, we actually have a lighthouse team, and it's thriving. They have worked alongside of Mike Sudo since the beginning of the school year, and they're initiating lots of kindness projects. So we're also doing a big push on service projects We also have sponsored a little girl from the Philippines through Chalice. So that has been very heartwarming for our students to take part in that. And simple things like morning shout outs. Every day we celebrate the simple success. It can be the simplest things of our students on the announcements. And first it was just Jen and I, we would see things in the hallways and we would shout out these students. Then the teachers got on board and they would give us shout outs to say. And then students would come up and say, can we shout out this student? He did this. It was just continually snowballed and got better and better. So another great thing, we had the opportunity to build some garden boxes out front. And then the students did all the gardening and then the harvest at the end, and we got to celebrate as a school. So promoting that staff wellness ultimately supported the wellness of our students. And we're very happy with the work we put in. It was hard work, challenging to say the least. But because of it, we're not only seeing the rewards daily, but we can feel it in our school. We have great attendance. From our teachers and our educational assistants, which shows that they like to come to school. And also, one of the things that we really like to do as a staff is show our gratitude towards others. So Jen and I have got a little token of appreciation that we will share with all the trustees. It'll go in the courier and it'll be in your mailboxes at district office. So it's just a little token of our appreciation to let you know we see what you're doing too, and we appreciate all your hard work and supporting our school district. So thank you from St. Gabriel School.
Mm-hmm. And I think Jody probably could feel this way as well, but I feel that mental health and wellness component in the last couple of years had to be, I guess, a main focus for us. That's one of the things that seems to be resounding, and it's one of the big things. So one more little video, and then you're rid of us.
Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, you'll be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble in my drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Okay, and that, oh no, not again. Any questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation, St. Gabriel School. That was awesome. I'm going to open up the floor to my fellow trustees if anyone has any questions or comments. I can't see you in any particular order here, so you want to raise your hand and go with that method. Trustee Galanzowski?
Yes, hi. Oh, hang on one sec. I'm having trouble connecting here. Now I've got two going, so just give me a moment. Sorry.
It wouldn't be the first meeting of the year if we didn't have all kinds of technical difficulties.
Okay, yes, I'm here now. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for the appreciation for the board. The real work is carried by all of you, though, and and thank you right back. That's all I wanted to say back at you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I do have one.
Trustee Shumway?
Yeah, I'm used to Teams because we use Teams at work, but I don't know how to put my hand up.
We'll train you later.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I did like it. I was just curious around more, I did see some Orange Shirt Day, but I just kind of, how does the, the Indigenous liaison kind of play into like, some of the teaching or some of the, with working with the staff? And because I'm just interested in the different schools, how they do that.
Absolutely, yes. So what Mrs. Nokaho's schedule, she works with specific Indigenous students just to help that academic component, but she also has a built into her schedule time to do teachings in the classroom with the teachers. She's actually teaching Dene to our grade 1-2 class as well, which is wonderful. And I know we always focus on a theme every month. So it might be based on the 7 teachings, or it might be based on what kind of campaigns are in the, I guess we could say in the media. So, in February it's Moose Hide campaign, but it's also, Moose Hide campaign, but there's also the Heart Garden Day. We always have something that we're focusing on every month as well to keep that, I guess, conversation, the education component always going. And so, Mrs. Nokaho is a very visible person in our building, and she's been amazing with our teachers because she's also given us the education component. So we had her speak, she tells her story to all of our staff, and then she goes into the classroom, and it's amazing the questions and the conversations that she can have. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No, but like just an example, just before Christmas, she worked with every class in the school, and they did a beading exercise where she was teaching them how to bead, and then they had something to take home, so to keep that conversation going with their families. She's a knowledge keeper, I feel like, and she shares her knowledge, and she's very open with the students. She's a great addition to our school.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's wonderful.
Trustee Hoffman?
Thank you so much for the presentation. Just one thing that stood out that I've seen your school doing, I think it was last year, but it melted my stone cold heart to be at Mass on a Monday morning, and it was whole classrooms of yours shuffled into St. Paul's there to participate in the Mass on a Monday morning. And you had mentioned in your presentation that it was, just across the street, and I think that's a beautiful opportunity that you've taken advantage of, and exposing the classes to the Mass, and incorporating that into the schedule above and beyond the liturgies that are scheduled with the district. So it was beautiful. Thank you.
Perfect. That's good to hear. Yeah, because we really want to get that going as well. Again, I should say again.
Thank you all very much. And I just have, so as I watched and listened to your presentation, there were 4 C's that came to mind. One of them was comprehension, communion, connection, and carrots. and I just see everything you're doing. We would like nothing more than to be able to, come in and visit you in the schools and have you showcase to us all the fabulous work you're doing. I think you've done a fine job of presenting it to us this way, however, and even though we can't be with you and the students, we just want you to know very much we appreciate all that you do each and every day for our students and families. And we're very grateful to have you be able to bring that back to us to, provide us with our little, we appreciate the gratitude. I think it speaks volumes, though, just when you are able to provide us with a presentation like that and show us just the fabulous work that you're doing day in and day out in the 5th C that we're not going to talk about. Thank you all very much.
I have to give credit to those videos to Karen because she's like, yeah, that's her forte, and I let her go with it. She did an amazing job on it. Thank you very much, everyone. We were happy to showcase our little school.
Thank you very much. And I will turn it back now to Superintendent McGuigan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll return now to St. Kateri and Principal Jody Seymour, and she will introduce her team once again. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Sorry about that. Great job, Jen and Karen. I really, really loved your mission statement and the work you did with that. I don't know why I didn't ask my Vanna White to start in the beginning, and then anyways, so Casey will share our presentation. And as I said, she is our vice principal, and she's extraordinary. And our other part of our leadership team is Anna, who is amazing. And then we also have Pam Murphy help us out, but all of our teachers had a part in it. So, and you'll see some of them in the videos. So here we go with our board presentation, and thank you for having us. So you can go to the next slide, Miss. And as always, this is always a part of our success celebrations, our daily announcements. We call it the Bison Bugle is our announcements, and that's how we are constantly permeating our faith and our messages throughout the school. So you can go to the next one, Miss. And I thought this is our daily prayer that we pray. And I mean, in addition, of course, to depending on what the feast day may be, we typically pray for whoever the saint is, or depending on where we are in the liturgical calendar, we'll add other prayers, be it the rosary or a litany, but this is our daily prayer. Our students know it by heart. And so I thought we would begin with this because it really sums up a lot of how we permeate faith, and it has our mission statement in it as well. So in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. As a school, we come before you, Lord, with Jesus as our role model. Let us work together to show our love for God and all his children. Help us, Lord, to make St. Kateri a place that fosters hope, reconciliation, and unity through our values, virtues, and habits. Guide us to understand that education is our buffalo. Let St. Kateri be the place where we can develop our gifts and discover how to use them according to your plan. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, as you can see on the next slide, St. Kateri's mission statement, we did a similar thing as they did at St. Gabriel School. And we did have education as our buffalo, and it's this beautiful mural on the front of the school. And we did a lot of work with our staff and stakeholders, and a very similar process, and we came up with this and incorporated the education as our buffalo into our mission statement where it rightly belongs. And I think it's perfect because it's exactly what we strive to do every day. And on the next video, we're going to let the beautiful grade 2 teacher, Miss Paula Campbell, talk to us a little bit about that.
Tansei Paula Campbell, Nipsi Kasun. I am a Nehiyaw teacher here at St. Kateri School, where we honor education as it is our new buffalo. The buffalo is a symbol of respect. It is one of our first teachers in the 7 sacred teachings. Here at St. Kateri, as we move forward in reconciliation, we are walking equally in 2 worlds, honoring both ways of knowing, the Catholic faith and Indigenous teachings.
Thanks, Miss. I'm assuming that was lagging for everyone. Was it? But I'm pretty sure no words were missed. It was just lagging a little bit. I'm a little concerned about the longer videos, but that's it. That's what we have to go through when we're sitting in this setting. So our assurance plan, and you guys have been through the ropes now. You know that as district-wide that we have the same pillars. And so basically what we wanted to do tonight was just showcase some of the really key and cool things that we are doing at St. Kateri under faith development, student success, and mental health and wellness. And as always, everything that we do, first and foremost, begins with Christ as a Catholic school. And we begin with the 5 marks of Catholic education, which our 4 core values are taken from, along with our TQS. So when we, work on writing and trying to see how we are going to, the strategies to use to demonstrate to achieve the outcomes in our assurance plan, this is our model. So faith development, we are called to discipleship. And as I said, Christ is at the center of everything we do at St. Kateri. It's just a part of every minute of every day, from morning, noon to dismissal, in every class, and every hallway. So here's just a few snapshots of some of the things that you'll see if you walk our hallways. Thanks, Miss. You're really, really good at flicking those slides. So under student success, there's, as you know, there's the 3 components. And what we wanted to highlight, I feel very, very blessed to be at St. Kateri with Casey and the exceptional staff there, because they are just amazing. And it just is like a well-oiled machine. And so with respect to our literacy and numeracy, I think in addition to what you'll see highlighted and what Brittany talks about, I think they've done a really fantastic job this year with using the data to guide their practice and sort of supplement what they're already doing. So fantastic. So let's listen to this extraordinary grade 6 teacher sort of sum up some of the highlights under our assurance plan.
Hi there, my name is Brittany and I teach grade 6 at St. Kateri, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I do in my classroom. With respect to Indigenous education, we kicked off the year talking about the establishment of the residential school system in Canada, which was a lead up to a really great conversation that happened through a live webinar with Phyllis Webstad that really brought the lesson to life for the students, hearing about somebody's lived experience with residential schools. COVID has made it a little bit complicated, but we try to bring Indigenous voices into the classroom as much as possible, and sometimes that's just through the use of literature. This is a book called Ancestor Approved. It's an accumulation of short stories and poetry. We'll be digging into the poetry in February, but we've just been doing some readings out of it really, but I do intend to incorporate some comprehension work with this. A picture book that we've worked with a great deal called Nippy's Water Song. It's by Sunshine Tenasco, and she's an Indigenous author from Montreal. This talks about water scarcity issues across our country. And this was a really great lead-in to our social studies work that we've done, because we've been learning about democracy and government and governmental responsibilities and things of that nature. And so it's been really great to sort of look at what democracy is and the pillars of democracy: freedom, representation, equity, and justice, and getting the kids to understand that while those are the pillars of democracy and we are a democratic nation, those pillars don't necessarily always stand up for all people. So we wrote a letter to the Prime Minister demanding action for those First Nations communities that have been without water for so long. In terms of religious education, we incorporate prayer into our day every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Early on, we learned about the different types of prayer, and it's become a daily practice, regular daily practice, in an effort to, I guess, not make it this big formal thing. A lot of people don't know how to pray. The kids didn't know how to pray. Frankly, I didn't know how to pray for a long time. And so we just wanted to get really comfortable talking with God. We do a lot of work with habits in line with our religious education to become the type of leader that God would want us to be. And we rely on the study of our virtues to gain a better understanding of what that looks like. Furthermore, we incorporate prayer into our discussions surrounding mental health. We discuss that the reality of life and how it gets difficult sometimes, and that it can be comforting to turn to God in those trying times. If we work towards developing and fostering a relationship with God, then we're able to lean on Him when we need to. In terms of mental health, we practice gratitude, we meditate, and we do mindfulness work on a regular basis. Some of the reasons for success in this area, I think, have to do with opening up conversations and being vulnerable in front of the students and being willing to show that having emotional reactions to things are okay and that we can all struggle from time to time. And that's allowed them to open up about their experiences. And then you have a lot of peers relating to one another. I think that aids in getting them to buy in more to some of these ideas like mindfulness and practicing gratitude and stuff like that. That it's not just fluff. It's things that we can practice on a regular basis that actually enhance our mental health. And in addition to that, we do win time, what I need time, which gives the students an opportunity to regulate. And I think that even though there's never enough time in the day, taking that little chunk of time to give the kids what they need provides opportunities to cultivate learning that is of higher quality than if we were to just push the agenda all the time. So hopefully that gives you some insight to what things are like here in at least one of the classrooms at St. Kateri. Thanks for listening.
So thanks, Brittany. She's pretty awesome. As a part of our literacy and numeracy this year, we have special guests come in on Wednesdays, and the kids are, not only is it good for our literacy and numeracy and sort of inspiring the kids and getting them excited about doing those things, but it's really great mentorship. So having those guys in has been really, really wonderful. And the staff and students have really spoken highly. A couple of teachers have said some of the boys are, you would think that they were trained teachers and they're so good with the kids. And I've sort of put in some quotes when I shared the slides, if you want to look through it, but we'll just let you. So in between literacy and numeracy, then they need to sharpen the saw. So. Anyway, they're all over them. I will share this quote with you. This is from Kathleen, a grade 4 teacher. She says, "I can tell you that having an oil baron in my classroom has had so many positive effects. One student in particular who was really struggling in a few areas became a lot more invested in his work and started having a more positive attitude towards things he did not like to do after he saw Riley actively participate in our classes." Anyway, she goes on. So that's just, when we speak about mental health, and particularly at a time where we're unable to get out and be part of the community and do a lot of the things that we want kids doing, having them in there for literacy, numeracy, and wellness has really been beneficial. Under high school completion, that portion of our assurance plan, this year we just figured out a way to bring CTF back at St. Kateri safely in our grade cohorts. And so, of course, CTF is student focused and supports interdisciplinary learning. And really, it's just a way of getting the kids to do, as we call them options or electives, like we see typically in middle school and high school, and we have them in grades 4 to 6. And so we have everything from, I think I have them listed on the next slide in this, if you want to move forward. Yeah, so intramurals, speech arts, faith jam, yoga for kids, healthy cooking, arts, Lego STEM. And so it's been very, very popular, and it went so well. And then it gets the teachers to really work on other areas in the TQS and to collaborate and bring some of the things that they're passionate about to the school as well. So I think there's another picture there. Is there, Miss? Yeah, oh no, that's it. So mental health and wellness. As Jen alluded to, it's so key, and from all of our staff throughout the building. But what we wanted to do was, in addition to what Brittany shared, was highlight for you. We are very blessed to have 2 half-time counselors to make up the 1 full-time FTE that we get at St. Kateri. And while in the beginning I was like, well, why are we splitting up the services? It has been exceptional because both Sarah and Rob complement each other. They're great team players, and the delivery that that our students are getting has been so beneficial in many ways. And I'll let them tell you more about it.
Hi, my name is Rob O'Brien, and I'm a counselor at St. Kateri. I'm there on Mondays and Wednesdays. And what I've done before Christmas is I do a bunch of universals. What I've done is a program called Zones, which is about emotional regulation, and it looks at emotions by what zone they're in. So blue zone, your body has not a lot of energy, your brain is sort of sluggish. Green zone, you just the right amount of energy and your brain is just ready to go. Yellow zone, got a little bit more energy, your brain's starting to shut down. And red zone, you have too much energy and your brain is gone. And we look at all these emotions and we try to get the idea across that emotions aren't bad or good, just like all the zones aren't bad or good. It's what you do with those emotions. And we learn strategies on how to go from red to green, yellow to green, blue to green, and look at situations so that emotional regulation becomes normal for the kids. Another program I do with the students, especially 5-6, it's called Friends for Life. Friends for Life is a program that helps build resiliency in kids when something happens to them or when they have to solve something that affects them. And basically, FRIENDS is an acronym, and we look at the F, which is feelings, because when something happens to us, we get intense feelings, and with those intense feelings, you get a lot of adrenaline flowing in your body, and your brain's not operating at full power. Once you've identified that you have feelings, then we do remember to relax, because you're not going to make a good plan or a good decision when you have strong feelings and your brain is sort of semi-shut down. Then once we go from the remember to relax, it's I can do it. And we're looking at positive thinking and negative thinking and letting them realize that everyone has negative thinking, but negative thinking does stop us from solving an issue or going from point A to point B. Then we look, once we get all this handled, we look at exploring solutions and how to solve the problem. And we do have a variety of them. One is a step coping plan, where you start from the easiest, working your way to the hardest. We look at the scientific method, identify the problem, brainstorm ideas, evaluate, pick one, do it. If it doesn't work, then pick the next best one. We also look at pluses and negatives. So, add up all the pluses and negatives and pick the one that works the best. And then near the end of the program, now reward yourself. Reward those people that help you. Reward yourself for doing a good job. And try to do this every day. Realize I have the feelings, I can relax, I can have positive thinking, negative thinking, and I can explore solutions for everything. And then smile, because I like smiling, and it's important to remember that if you smile, you can actually trick your brain, even if you're down, to be happy again.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm the other half of the guidance counseling team at St. Kateri School. And so I just want to kind of go over some of the things that we've been working on so far this year. So at the beginning of the year, I focused on kindness with our younger students in grades 3 and down. We're currently working on mindfulness, test anxiety with our 4 to 6s. And then also work on incorporating some impulse control. Both Rob and I do some one-on-one and group programming with the kids. And one of the main focuses that we're doing universally now through the school, we started in December, is we're talking about the WITS program. Because although many schools don't have bullying problems, kids need to learn how to manage and deal with conflict. So with the WITS program, we're doing this with the younger primary students, and then in grades 4 to 6, we're looking at the LEADS program. In other years, we've only kind of focused on the WITS, but after talking to some of the staff members, we feel like the LEADS program would be very beneficial as you're actually exploring different points of view. Giving the students the right tools to manage conflict, both inside and outside of the school, will go a long way. So this is what we're doing this year, and we look forward to, just the outcomes.
Thanks, guys. So just, I'm almost done, you guys. Wanted to just incorporate this because Brittany had alluded to it, and just practicing gratitude is a key component to, leading a faith life and having a relationship with God. And what we see is that when we look at the assurance plan and the outcomes that we want to achieve, mental health, faith, and literacy, they all leak into each other. And then of course that leads to, the success we have with inclusivity and in our early learning, and then of course to high school completion. So just wanted to add this. This is something that we're doing in grade 2. And it just allows the kids to explore their feelings and give thanks and praise daily. And it also helps them with their writing. Next slide, Miss. And very, very similar thing in the other grade 2 class where she's doing wonder journals. So, and there are the benefits for practicing gratitude. Next slide, Miss. And this is just some examples of what they do in their wonder journals. You can go to the next one, Miss. This is something that Sarah's doing as well, just, you know, aligned with being grateful is having a worry dump. So this is a pretty cool practice that our counselors are doing that helps kids to, you know, out with the bad and focus on the positive. You can go to the next slide. So basically, you know, we said faith plus student success plus inclusion plus mental health and wellness equals success celebrations. And so when we put it all together, despite COVID, we have been safely and successfully recognizing the merits and the gifts that God has given all of our students at St. Kateri and celebrating them in our small cohorts in the gym monthly. And they love to come in because we always come in and we worship, we sing and dance, and then we acknowledge and celebrate how our students share their gifts that God has given each of them in the language of the values, virtues, sacred teachings, habits, and so here's some pictures of that. And there you go. That's the end.
Thank you very much, Principal Seymour. I will open the floor now up to my fellow trustees. If anyone has any questions or comments. Trustee Chambé?
I figured out how to raise my hand. No, I thought it was really good. I think, thank you for sharing. I think, you know, being a First Nations, student, when I, just thinking there's probably a lot more books now, but I love the way that you're incorporating that into the, and I wish you could have seen some of that. I'd love to see I don't know if they could share or if they saved the letter, but I'd love to see that letter somehow, the letter to the Prime Minister.
I will tell Brittany tomorrow and she will send it to you. She's pretty efficient.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, no, I thought that was cool. And I like how you're, I think about like even teaching to pray. I think that's important. Even for myself, I no one's really ever showed me how to pray. I just pray. And there's no, but I think, I think kids need to know how to do it. So I think I really like that you're showing them. I remember my dad, and it's different, but even smudging and how he prayed, he prayed to God, but he also, prayed in his own way, and he showed my daughters. But showing is I think, like, kids learn by showing, and I really like that you're doing that. So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Trustee Galanzowski?
Thank you very much. And thank you for the presentation. Wow. It was just yesterday, wasn't it, that we were, voting on a logo for St. Kateri and a name and, watching it all come together. It's like, what growth it's had. And with each, Ms. D did an amazing job opening that and bringing it to where it was. And then you pick it up and just take it even farther. And it's just tremendous to see all of those things woven into this environment.
Can I just say, I have to share this story. So I don't think we have a picture of her in there, but I noticed last week when we had our curriculum engagement meeting, Gerarda walked by and she went, wow. So we have lots of pictures of St. Kateri up in the school now. And one of them I found is this huge picture, and I didn't notice it, but there's the white buffalo in the background of this picture. I did notice it. I did set, I'm getting this picture up. I was like, what's taking them so long? We need to get this picture up on the wall. And then we did the work on our mission statement and had Paula tell us. I said, what does it mean? And then we did more research, and she was able to really tell us what education is our buffalo means, and the symbolism of the white buffalo. And then I walked by, I was on my way down to early learning, and I stopped dead in my tracks. And I didn't see the white buffalo in the background of St. Kateri until after we had this conversation. So I just think wow, like it's just so beautiful. So when you come to visit, it's just, hey, Casey, it's really cool how it all came together. So.
Thank you. Trustee Higdon, please.
When you think you've prayed enough, pray more. That's an old Bible college professor of mine told me when I was studying theology. When you think you're praying enough, pray more, because you probably need it. And just to know that kids at that age are being taught that prayer is invaluable, right? It's just you can never do it enough, and you can never really not like you never grow enough in prayer. Is important. And I'm going to sound a little biased because obviously you see me every morning when I bring my kids to school. But I appreciate what you guys are doing on the guidance, the counseling side. That stuff you don't see walking your kids to the door in the morning. You don't see that background of what's going on behind closed doors. I see a little bit of it. I see some of the stuff that pertains to my kids, what my daughter, especially my oldest daughter in grade 2, what she's doing, but I don't see what a lot of the rest of the school is doing, and to see kind of what they're working on with the kids, both one-on-one and groups, is very promising. And I really appreciate and commend you all for that. And I just want to chime in and say good job to what you guys are doing over there. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? I would just like to say that, wow, education has sure changed since I was a child. And when I watched your presentation today, I just really wished I could come back to school.
On in anytime. Put on your mask and show
I
me
think
your
there's
tour. And...
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, that would be fantastic. We really look forward to coming back and into the schools and seeing what you do. And I would love nothing more than to attend a leadership assembly, like, again, Success Assembly. And I think that's the one thing that brought home to me was seeing the leadership that you had in your teachers and in your students. And it's just phenomenal to see what great leaders our students are going to be, and the Christian and Catholic values that you are teaching them, and that you're providing them with. And I was really grateful to see the gratitude journal. It's something that I think it's been key during these times, I think, for a lot of adults as well. And so I guess my one question to you is these teachings are provided to the students. Do you find that your staff are having those like aha moments with respect to the Indigenous teachings or the Catholic teachings?
Yeah, I can speak to that, but I'm going to let Casey speak to it because she is the real boss over there. So I'll let her tell you about it.
I'm not the real boss. Yes, our staff, we have an amazing staff. And we're so grateful today as well to have Tracy Patnode start back as our Indigenous liaison. It's been about a year. And so as we were going into the classrooms and talking about Tracy coming back, and you could hear the conversations that the teachers were having with her, and the excitement to have her in the class and help support the curriculum and the children's learning, and just there's been a tremendous growth, I feel, in that area in the last few years, and especially then with our faith formation in St. Kateri. I think it's been a blessing with Jody's leadership and permeating throughout our school, as you heard with Brittany speaking, just with prayer centered in the day, and that Brittany spoke to us, but that it's in all the classrooms, not just with Brittany. She was just one example, and so yes, you can feel it, and you can see it, and it's really, I feel, everywhere in St. Kateri, and and it's a joy, and it was quite a joy also to have the kids back today. So it was today's just a blessed day for sure. I don't know if I answered your question, Kathy, but hopefully
You did way better than me. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've infused us with your excitement for sure, and it's as close as we can get without actually being there in person. So we thank you all very much, and I would just like to say on behalf of the board that knowing that when we attend meetings with other boards throughout the province, we are constantly reminded and blessed by our amazing administrative team, senior administrators, staff, everybody. It's amazing to hear or see that some of the struggles that maybe that other divisions have, and that we kind of go, wow, like we're just, you all do such a seamless job. Even in these unprecedented times. And we know that our students and families are well taken care of. And we cannot possibly say how much we appreciate everything that you do day in and day out. And, here's to a seamless remainder of the school year.
Amen.
Thank you. And with that, I will take it back now to Superintendent McGuigan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick update for you on COVID. I know we don't like to talk much about it because it's so prevalent in our lives, but it's something we just can't escape. I think, as Casey alluded to just a moment ago, we were so blessed and happy to have the schools open today and have the students back. I think certainly there was that excitement in the air that's always there when everybody gets to return and be living in community, which is what we're all called to do. We weren't built, as I always say, to be in isolation. So that was great. We do know and realize the reality of life in our community, where today's count put us up at about 563 cases, I believe. So we know this was going to happen. We know with this Omicron variant, it's highly contagious, and it's going to hit us in the community. So certainly very important that all of us together in the community, not just in the schools, are doing their part to try to keep everybody safe, keep everybody healthy, because our number one goal is to keep the schools open and to keep students learning and keeping us ever present, I guess, being together. We see each day as a blessing. When we are open and we have the students and the staff together, and that, regardless of how the next few weeks go, that'll be our number one goal to do so. There may be times due to operational, if we have difficulty staffing in a certain situation, we may have to switch a class or classes to some at-home learning for a few days, but certainly that will be a last resort for us, and we'll do everything we can to keep the students in school and coming to school. And so that's what we're doing. So that's just a little update for the board and on where we are, and we'll continue to monitor things each and every day, and through prayer and perseverance with us together and united, we'll get through this next section, and I look forward to February.
Thank you, Superintendent McGuigan. We move now to we do not have any items for decision. So we move now to number 11, which is the consent agenda. So we have all had a chance to review Policy 7, Board Operations, Policy 8, Board Committees, and Policy 9, Board Representatives. And we move now to item number 12, information. First up, 12.1, ACSTA Trustee Report. So I am the current director for our ACSTA rep. I'm the current rep for ACSTA for our board. We don't have our next scheduled board meeting until February. And we're currently in the process of looking for a new executive director for Alberta Catholic School Trustees Association. I don't have anything new to report report since our December meeting because we haven't had a meeting. So I will look forward to reporting back. I believe our board of directors meeting is not until after the February meeting, so I would be reporting back in March. And moving to now to item 12.2, the Alberta School Board Association trustee report, and I pass it along to trustee Galanzowski.
Thank you. I don't actually have anything new to report either, because our next meeting is the end of January. So it will be February before the next February meeting before I have any interesting news for you.
Thank you. And trustee Higdon, do you have anything to report with respect to CCSE?
No, I do not. Just that our next meeting is actually on the 24th of January. So for February, I will have a report from that one.
Excellent. Thank you. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting is on Monday, February 7th, 2022. And before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I just would like to also thank all of our families for their support as we head back into the remainder of the school year. We thank you for your patience, and we look forward to hopefully, to providing safe, caring school for your children. And hopefully, if you need it at all, remember that we have the webpage with our health and wellness resources that have been put together by some of our stellar staff. And so we certainly invite you to take a look at the various resources that are there. We wish you all a blessed remainder of the month of January. And if I could ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, trustee Janvier, and all in favor? So moved. Thank you. God bless everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.